Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Another cold, rainy day in Georgia, but that's not going to stop us from our project for today, which is one of the most exciting things that we have done so far in our 2021 camper van conversion. The Herculiner is all dry. We're going to be putting the floor back in today. At the same time, we're doing a project today that is so exciting, and if you ever watched our very first video, you might know what I'm talking about. It's being free of stopping when we don't want to stop, going to places we don't want to have to go. What am I talking about? Yeah, the toilet. Well, this is America, and this is freedom right here. Freedom to not to have to stop at rest areas, sketchy or otherwise, pull off safely on the side of the road, maybe, unless the wife's driving, and take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, very exciting. We went with a Nature's Head composting toilet. Didn't want to mess around with cassettes, didn't want to mess around with black water tanks, gray water, carrying water, any of that kind of stuff. Did a lot of research on this bad boy before we chose this. Only time will tell. Our experience might be different, but the reviews were pretty dang good. So I'm very excited to put this in. It is going to be going right there. And I'll show you how we get to this point and how we're going to install this today, over the next couple days maybe. But anyway, very exciting. So let's get started. So the floor of a Sprinter van, obviously you have the base sheet metal, okay? And then if you saw the last video when we did the Herculiner, there's actually a factory floor that they put in that is really nice. I'm looking at it right now over here. Really nice, fairly, at least half-inch thick, really durable plywood with a good coating on top. And there's actually a little bit of a gap from that floor to the steel of the bottom of the van, okay? So obviously the toilet needs to be attached, and it attaches via these two brackets here, okay? Because if it wasn't attached and you got in a wreck, well, that would be pretty crappy. Anyway, what we decided to do, it comes with these little tiny screws. Let me show you. To attach to wood, it just came with these screws, and I do not think that's enough. I can see a wood screw like this, and even under hard braking, let alone an accident, getting ripped out, especially if this thing is full and kind of heavy, you know what I'm saying? So what we decided to do was create this piece of plywood right here with a nice rubber mat that we use spray adhesive to get onto. So the toilet is actually going to sit onto this. We like the idea of it being on rubber, which is going to be easily cleanable, in case there's, a mess that comes from the toilet or whatever, instead of going onto the other flooring that we're going to be putting down that I'll show you here in a second. So again, nice, durable, extra platform to put it on. This is what's going to get attached. The toilet will be attached to this and the wood floor, the factory wood floor of the van. So it's not going to be going anywhere. And I'll show you a washer system that I came up that's going to run underneath. Not just little wood screws, but actual bolts that's going to keep the toilet in place on this. So let me show you the other flooring that we're going to be putting down as well. Here you go. It's carpet. Let me see if I can bring it up and show it to you. Open it up here. We got this from Real Truck, and it's the van rug. I love it. It feels really good. It's going to feel nice walking on. They say, and I hope it's true, that it's, chemical resistant, spill resistant, won't stain. This is the kind of thing that if this was a real work truck, that you would be walking on, all the time with heavy work boots and mud, and it should clean up. So I'm real happy with this. It was also very cost effective. I think a couple $100 or something like that. We didn't want a hard floor surface. We just wanted this, so that when we get up in the middle of the night to use our toilet, we are going to have something nice underfoot. So I'm real happy with this. But to sum up our flooring situation with the toilet install, we're going to have, of course, on the bottom, the base sheet metal of the van. Then we're going to have the factory flooring. then the carpet, the rug, the van rug, and then the platform that the toilet is going to go on. And the toilet will need to go through all of those surfaces to bolt in to our platform here, I guess you want to call it, and into the wood floor of the van. So let's get started on that, and I'll show you what we're going to do in order to make sure it's nice and secure. All right, what we're going to be doing, I made this strap, basically, that is going to run underneath the toilet and then be bolted down with the actual clamps. This is going to run underneath the floor of the factory floor of the van. What I need to do, though, is I'm going to weld on the nuts, and then these nuts, once they're welded on, are going to be recessed into the rubber floor coated platform. And in order to find a real tight seal, it's hard to explain. I'm going to do it, then I'll show you, and it'll make a lot more sense when it's done and all put together, and I'll show you all that. Here is the underside of the factory plywood flooring for the van. And what I have made, it's drying right now, I painted it, but basically a strap to go along the bottom here. And I welded these nuts in. These nuts are going to be recessed into the wood. And I was just starting to drill out the holes to get them to sit flush in there so that this piece sits flush. And so when we put the bolts in from the top, it will be secure. I put one right here in the middle because this is what it's going to keep it in place while we move the floor back into place. I have yet to drill the hole for that. So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done all here. All right, sit rep right now. The floor is back in. The biggest pain in the butt, this aluminum piece right here is indented on both sides, and it basically holds the two pieces together. And that back piece is really heavy. I thought about taking out that aluminum piece, but I was like, we'll try it. My wife and I were finally able to get it back together. Just have to put the tie downs, everything else back in. You can see the holes right there. That's where the toilet is going to go. And on the other side of that, I have that strap running along the back, and there's threaded nuts. Those threaded nuts that I welded on that strap are right there. So, knock on wood, it should go in pretty easy. So, what I'm going to do right now, kind of clean up these things, the tie downs, reinstall them, and then we're going to lay out the carpet. Alrighty, the factory floor is tied back in. Looking good. All that's left to do now is roll out the carpet, put it in. It should, I'm pretty sure, it should already fit around the wheel wells. It says it's made to fit a 170 wheelbase Sprinter, so let's roll her out and put her in. The backing of it is like a really nice closed cell foam. And then there's the actual carpet layer right there. So that is going to be nice and thick and kind of cushy. Maybe even offer a little insulating properties for sure. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see if we can get this thing laid out. There's the wheel well. That must be the back. Oh, there's even cutouts for the tie-ins. We're not going to use those, but that's kind of cool. It'd be a little bit easier if it was warmer out. It's a tight fit. If you'll notice here, it's overlapping the step. However, you can see the line there, and when you look underneath, it is serrated. Can you see that? Let me see. Can you see that right there? There you go. There's the serration. So it looks like I just need to bring in a box knife and cut out for the step. You definitely want to cut it from the bottom. The good news is it cuts really easy, just like a foam. All right, so it's the next day. I had to go get some long bolts. I didn't realize the carpet was going to be so thick, so the bolts that I had gotten to secure the toilet to the rubber coated base on here, anyway, they were too short. Anyway, had to go get some more bolts. So what we're going to do now, go ahead and install our toilet platform. I've got the screws, or the bolts I should say, going through the carpet. I need to pull those out, try to line up my holes in the toilet platform with there, and put the brackets in, and the mechanical part of the installation will be complete. All right, finished getting that zipped in. Then we'll install our toilet. So there we have it. It is installed. It feels pretty firm. The plywood could be a little more secure probably, but once we put some other stuff in here. Now, we are not going to keep it just like this. Eventually, we're going to build a cabinet up around it with a lid to kind of cover it up and everything like that. The cabinet will, oh, I cut myself there. The cabinet will be going out to there and up, and then we'll keep this area for storage, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, anything else that we need for camping. But when it actually comes to the toilet being in there, we're good. So before we can call this project totally done, there's a couple more things I still need to do. This toilet, a couple things has to happen. You can see right there, that is another hole that I cut in the van that vents to the outside. This hose hooks up to that vent to the outside and connects right here to that side. Within that housing right there is literally like a little computer fan. In order for this toilet to work effectively, you have to have airflow going, okay? So that little computer fan, when the toilet is full or you're using it, needs to be running pretty much all the time. So it's going to be hooked up to our 12 volt, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but we also have a 120 outlet there as well, so that when we're camped, we can have it hooked up to the 120 and it'll be running all the time as well. Apparently that computer fan draws such little amperage or current or whatever that our one house battery should not have a problem running that. But again, that's only when we're really using the toilet. So I need to figure out what they provide is just a positive and a negative. So I need to figure out how I'm going to hook up a cigarette lighter to this or a USB, because I have a 12 volt outlet, a 12 volt and 120 right next to the toilet. That was in preparation for the toilet being there. So I need to figure that out as well. Other than that, this isn't really a review of the toilet. That'll come later. There's all sorts of reviews on YouTube that I looked at in order to choose this toilet. So I would highly recommend you check that out as well. But as we do some trips and stuff like that, we'll certainly review it as well and see how well it's working. But for now, gonna go on to some other things. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got a Sprinter or a Transit, or you're doing a conversion like this as well, maybe you picked a different location for it. We certainly didn't want it any closer to the bed, which is going to be in the the back part of the van. And again, putting a cabinet around it will make it look nice. It'll hide it, things like that. So I'll definitely be filming that whenever we get around to that project. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.